Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us. If you haven't subscribed, I want you to go ahead and hit the subscribe button, comment, share, engage us in the comment section. We want to hear um, your view, your takes on our topic today. And we're going to be discussing uh, the GMO food or GMO seeds that has been making rounds in Nigeria at this point. There's a lot of mixed reactions on this particular topic. A lot of people don't want GMO seeds. A lot of people want GMO seeds because it provides food security and all of that stuff. But we do want to talk about it and share our own views and let us know what you think in the comment section. So I'll turn it over to Elvis to give us his own beat on the subject of the genetically modified seeds that are being imported into Nigeria and how it's going to drastically change the future of farmers in Nigeria.
Yeah, for me, I don't think it's necessarily a bad idea to, for countries to be able to feed their teeming population. I think year over year, our soil is becoming less and less fertile, so leading to less and less produce or yield from the field. So the idea of trying to augment farming with genetically modified food, essentially crops that can, be resistant to like maybe weed, resistance to like maybe drought, and resistant to pests, in order for them not to damage it. But also the people are split, especially in Nigeria, they are really split on the issue. There are people that really do not have problem with it. There are people that are concerned about sovereignty, that countries should be, sovereign, and they shouldn't depend on another country to essentially feed their people. And there are people that are also of the opinion that what happened to the national security, because food security is a matter of national security. What happens if we have somebody like Trump down the future and he say, okay, because this country is doing this, because this country is doing this, do not sell, seeds to them, So it means that for that planting season or that planting year, your country will not be able to cultivate anything. We are seeing how Trump is essentially using tariffs to fight some of his perceived political enemies, like some countries that he don't really like China, Brazil. We see how he slapped 50% tariffs on Brazil. So what happens in the future, maybe 20, 40, 50 years from now, and we have somebody like another Trump 3.0 or 2.0, and the person do not like a particular country and say, hey, stop doing business with them, do not sell seeds to them. And knowing fully well that the company that, is engineering these seeds, is based there in the US. For me, I do not really see a problem, because, Nigeria, I think we have an issue with food, feeding our people. And a lot of them stems from the insecurity. Benue State used to be called the food basket of the nation. But for a very long time, they've been battling with insecurity. They have not been able to go to farm. They've been chased out of their farms. If you go to the north where they grow like cowpeas, they grow carrot and stuff like that, those people are not able to go to farm again. So in order to avert the food insecurity, I think something needs to be done. And if you remember, for the longest, we've been bringing some of our food from the government have been bringing food from Ukraine and along that area. So I think this is a way to tackle the food insecurity. But if we are saying we don't want to go to that route, so it means that the government have to fix our security challenges. We need to look for a way to send farmers back to the farm. We need to look for a way to subsidize farming. We look to start looking for a way to support our farmers so that they can continue to grow organic foods. And if you are a farmer, definitely want more yield from your field. So I think you'll be tilted towards the idea of GMO because you want to plant and harvest, reap as much as you can reap. That means profit and that means you stay in business. So depending on which side of the debate you belongs to, I think every debate is valid, every point is valid. If you're of the opinion that we shouldn't go to that route, you are concerned about health, yeah, that debate is valid. If you're of the opinion about national security, that we should be food secured, that is a valid debate. Then if you're a farmer and you want to make more profit, that is also a valid debate. But we need to look for a middle ground and come together and solve this problem.
Yes, I definitely agree with you that food security is a national security issue, and it's also scary because if you allow the GMO seeds to be imported into Nigeria, then you're basically handing over our future over to external forces. And when anything happens, external forces can decide to either sell you the GMO seeds or they can refuse to sell you the seeds. And if this happens, you're not going to be able to farm. You're not going to be able to grow what you need to grow in time to meet up with the harvest season or to put some food in the market to be able to take care of yourself and take care of your people. So I think this is important and it needs to be taken a closer look at. Back in the day, when you grow corn or maize, when you grow a seed, and when the corn, grows, you can harvest some of it, sell some of it, eat some of it, donate some of it, and then you can also keep some of it and dry them and get them ready for the next planting season. So you're basically keeping some, holding some for you to replant when the planting season comes. So if you don't have that ability, now you have to talk to a third party or an external party to supply you the seeds. Whereas you should still be able to get those seeds. You don't have to pay anything for it. If you do want to buy some seeds, maybe to grow a variety of them, you can do that. But if you want to continue to grow what you've been growing over the years, you don't need to buy the seeds. So for the farmers, it's going to be a big challenge. And it's a lot of our farmers are not empowered at scale to grow food and to grow any kind of crops. A lot of people they do subsistence farming to be able to take care of themselves, take care of their families, and also sell a little bit of it just to be able to buy other things in the market to take care of their families. So if this is allowed, it's going to cause a lot of issues. And there's another side to it as well. There's the health challenge part of it. I know in Zimbabwe they allowed it at some point, and I believe that the rate of cancer in that country grew significantly compared to when the GMO seeds weren't being used. So they've banned GMO seeds in Zimbabwe. So I think Nigeria needs to start looking at that direction as well because we don't have a good healthcare system. You can't compare yourself to other developed countries where if anything happens, they can get into an emergency room quickly, get operated on. They have basically pharmaceutical companies that they don't have to struggle too far. They'll be taking care of you if they don't have money, and then they can, get in debt and pay those debt back. But in Nigeria, we don't have that system in place. The healthcare system is not in a good shape. That's why you see a lot of people travel abroad to seek medical care. So if you don't have any good healthcare system in place, investing in GMO seeds is a bad idea. And I know lately we've been hearing a lot of people dying of cancer, dying of various sicknesses. I'm not saying they're being caused by GMO seeds, but if you don't really have anything to take care of your people with, you don't have any healthcare resources to help your people with, and you're introducing another unknown potential DNA altering foods to them, that will be very, very dangerous. I believe it will be very, very dangerous. It's on our government, it's on our leaders to make sure that they're, taking a look at it, they're having a critical eye when they're talking with these third parties, they're talking with these external forces. And I know the external forces, the external, companies may not want to divulge all that information to them, but you need to be able to do the test yourself. Don't just don't just take their words for it. Do go into the lab, do the test yourself, see what kinds of results you're getting before you allow the GMO seeds to be pushed to your people. Because at the end of the day, it's on your people, it's on your leadership, it's on you to make sure you take care of your people.
Yeah, and that is correct. So, like I said before, it depends on which side of the debate you belongs to. But for me, I'm kind of neutral because over 7 billion population of the world, you do not expect, to continue to farm the same way we've been farming to, to be able to feed the population. Something definitely has to be done to be able to increase yield and then be able to take care of, the population. They say a hungry man is an angry man. So people needs to eat. But like I said, I think we need to look for balance. And countries like United States, like China, how did you know? I mean, how do you think they've been able to, feed their population? Like in the US, food is almost no problem. Can farm and then have a significant yield, and then weed, rodents, pests will not be, destroying their field. But in Nigeria, we know that to be the case. I think NAFDAC, they need to do more sensitization. They need to educate the people more. And if they truly want to go to the route of GMO to introduce it into the country, but from the little research I've done, I think they said it's been around since 2001. People are also referencing that it was fully approved in 2019. They even saying that the rice, fields in the north, the beans field, the corn, all of them they've been growing them with GMOs. So if you are a farmer, naturally you will gravitate towards that because now you can make more money for your labor. But I think the federal government need to really, be transparent, and then educate the people and make sure that they keep our options, like they give us options, and then they label these things properly so that if you want to buy it, you can consciously buy it. And if you don't want to buy it, decide not to buy it. We know if you go to stores in America here, if you are the type that that read the labels, you will see it GMO and non-GMO. But even the one that is not GMO, you did be surprised it's GMO too. So it's a marketing strategy, it's a business strategy. They may not tell you everything. So I think the government have a role to play to sensitize the people, to educate the people about it, let people know about the the advantages and the disadvantages, and then give people option. And two, I think that if we really want to go GMO completely, we should have like I think in the United States here, and there is another facility for the entire world where they keep seeds. Maybe in case of natural disaster, in case the whole population, world population is wiped out. So maybe the other people that will continue living, they will go back to that place and see the seeds to replant and stuff like that. I think is if Nigeria don't have a place like that, I think that is one thing they can start looking into so that they do not entirely surrender their sovereignty, their full sovereignty to a company or a country so that they don't become a slave in their own country. They do not have to depend on another country to feed their people. So I think a food storage, seed storage facility is something that Nigeria should be looking into to begin to store some of our seeds in case we want to come back from the route we want to take, and then so that we can just go back to normal.
To be honest, I don't think we're ready for GMO seeds in Nigeria. I do understand the food security aspect of it. The only way you're gonna sell this idea to me if you guarantee that it's gonna make food cheaper for everybody. We know food is really expensive out there, and I don't think GMO seeds will make food cheaper. But if it's gonna make food cheaper, then you still have to consider the health impact of those seeds. And if you think about it, so what do you think causes ADHD? What do you think causes autism? It's all these things are caused by genetic and environmental factors, and some of them are caused by the food we put in our body as well. Because in this country, there are some foods that you eat and you see children, especially male children, they started growing body parts, becoming heavier and things like that. So the food we eat, has some kind of effect on our overall health. So, like I said, if we don't really have a good functioning healthcare system in Nigeria, I don't think now is the right time to start pushing out the GMO seeds to the general public because you're just gonna kill them. You don't have any healthcare system to be able to take care of them, and a lot of people in this rural area they have no access to functioning healthcare centers. A lot of people are poor; they don't have the money to be able to afford medication or private hospitals. Some people are afraid of even going to the hospitals because they don't have the money to pay. If you don't pay the doctors, if you don't pay the hospitals, you're not going to be taken care of. So a lot of people will resort into visiting local pharmacies, local herbs stores, basically going into traditional route to take care of their healthcare challenges. So I don't think now is the time to start looking at it until you're able to improve the act, improve access to healthcare for the people. That's when you should start looking into the GMO seeds. I do agree that at some point, due to food security, we need to start looking at this route. But we've been around for over 2,000 years. Our fathers, our grandparents, our great great grandparents, they farmed. Some of them lived a long lives. Some of them lived a short life too. But at the same time, you need to consider the healthcare impact before ruling all these changes out. I saw a post on the internet a while back saying like only 8% of Nigerians make 250,000 over 250,000 naira a month. So with that kind of income, it's really difficult to get access to good quality healthcare. But if you can guarantee that food will be cheaper, if you can guarantee that the people will be taken care of when the healthcare or when health issues arises, yeah, then that at that point, I believe you're ready. But at this time, I don't think we're near close being ready at this point.
Yeah, you are completely right, and I agree with you. But one thing I would like to point out is that Nigeria is wired in a certain type of way that once price keeps going up, no matter what you do, it's very difficult for that price to come down. Otherwise, if you are producing more from your field, it means that you can lower your price. So it means that the more you produce or the more yield you get from your field, the more you'll be able to subsidize it. So ideally, like in the US, you will see why organic foods are more expensive than the GMOs, whatever, the ordinary food. It's because they're able to produce it in large quantity. You farm maybe 3 hectares of land, you produce more, you have more yield. So you have more wiggle room to crash the price. So what I'm trying to say is that essentially, ideally, if Nigeria is the perfect place, it's supposed to be that GMO will crash the price of food because there will be more food in the market. Farmers will get more yield from their farms. And I also agree with you that before we start thinking of going to this route, we need to put our healthcare system in place. We need to have a healthcare system that will be able to take care of the population. Because what happens if people after eating, because we essentially what we eat, what happens after people done eating and they fall sick and there is no place to treat them or there is no hospital that is equipped to to handle some of the cases that will be arising from this. So if I understand what you're saying, it means that we have to have a healthcare system before we even begin to consider going to this route. But like I said, I feel indifferent about this. Maybe because I live in this part of the world. I know that is everywhere. I know that for us to be able to take care of this population, there has to be some technological advancement in the way we farm, whether it be using herbicides to control the weeds, whether looking for a way to grow more yield. I think is a good thing. Then another funny thing is that there is almost like a link between the healthcare system, the pharmaceutical system, and all these people that is carrying out these things. So you eat, you get sick, you go to the hospital, and then they prescribe medication to you, and only God will save you if you do not end up being dependent on that medication to function. A lot of time, that is what we see in this part of the world. You see somebody that has been taking medication for a particular condition for more than 20 years. You see people that as soon as they are born, they already prescribe medication for them and they will take it till they leave this world. So it's a very difficult debate. I think it's deeper than the way people see it. It has so many layers that, it will take you time to peel all these layers to look at, every single layer one by one. But if you really look at it, a lot of these things are interconnected.
Yeah, very well said. I know we're out of time, but let us know what you think in the comment section. Do you think Nigeria is ready for GMO seeds? Do you feel like the GMO seeds have already been, introduced into the country? Because lately, a lot of people have been diagnosed with cancers and all sort of sicknesses. So let us know your opinion in the comment section. Feel free to engage us, and we'll like to hear from you. Thank you again for watching us, and have a wonderful day.
Thank you.